Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 11.
Let's fire her up.
Oh, Bearskin, you timed that host so perfectly. How's everybody doing tonight? Apparently, there's one or two sporting events happening tonight in the Toronto world, so I don't know if we're going to have any Canadian viewers here with us tonight. But nice to see so many of you in chat already. Fractal Farmer, nice to see you. Karashi3, how are you doing? Bearskin Rug, what's up? Crookery, how are you? Battery H, how's it going? Red Green 82, nice to see you, sir. Damo Music, how are you doing? Mortis Deum Lost, what's up? Kiefer Skunk, I see you. Scotty W, watching those Leafs for us. I got my Leafs jersey on tonight. Try to wish them luck. I got a Blue Jays t-shirt on underneath to wish them luck. And, of course, I got my Raptors jersey, on standby in case they need a little extra loving too. So there's lots going on tonight. I'm sure we're on a lot of small screens tonight while the big screens are being dominated by sports, and that's just fine. Nice to see you all. Yamp44, how are you doing? Zero Cool, nice to see you. Pete Rose, what's going on? Go Sabres. Go Sabres. Mr. J. Ramal, how's it going? R. Mollard, nice to see you. Sam Burkett, I'm from PGH, so a Penguins fan. Oh, that's a great team, the Penguins. Good for you. Good for you. All right. Well, before we get going any further, I think we got to call this official, even though it's kind of a sport night, we'll have to call it still into order and have our 11th Possum Lodge meeting. So if you know the actions, please follow along at home. There is the call of the possum.
All right.
Quando, Omni, Flunkus, Moritati.
Now, if you know the words, please bow your heads for the man's prayer.
I'm a man, but I can change if I have to, I guess.
All right, and we are officially underway. Hey, Eben Blade of Revan with the Tier 1 sub. Thank you so much for your 2 months of membership here at Possum Lodge. Online, Twitch version, I guess you might call it. Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Another guy, TN. How's it going? Yeah, so thank you. I just wanted to say right off the bat, so many of you guys have been donating, tipping bits, subscribing. We got a whack of subscribers already. This is ridiculous. Thank you so much for your generosity. But more than anything, of course, thank you for just coming out and hanging out and watching these with me and enjoying some time together. I really appreciate you guys coming and spending some time. And gals, I know there's some ladies in the crowd as well. If you did, speaking of, there's some bits right there. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. Speaking of which, if you did subscribe with Twitch Prime, please know it's an awesome way to subscribe to a Twitch channel because it makes it free. If you have Amazon Prime and you link it to your Twitch channel, you get Twitch Prime. Some more bits. Battery H, thank you very much. He says you're most welcome. Thank you, Battery. You can link it to Twitch. You get a free sub at one channel a month. We'd love it if you came and used it on us, but it doesn't re-up automatically. So if it's run out on you, make sure you click that again in this channel if you want to stay a subscriber over here at Red Green Junior TV. But thank you so much. Tony Nader, 8667. Hello from Ontario. Tony, are you watching some sports tonight as well, or are you just glued to the computer tonight? Because I'm not watching sports. I can barely do this when I'm focused just on this. If I had a TV on in the background or something, I would be even more awful than I already am. And but it's on my mind. Kiefer, thank you for the 50. Wow, look, we're filling that cup up. It says whoop whoop. Nice. Any goal, you guys gotta let me know. It's 4-3 Leafs right now, but I gotta hear from chat because I don't have any screens on. Eben Blade says, thank you so much for bringing this show back into my life and letting me share it with everyone who has missed it. That's what we're doing here. Not everyone likes me chatting and, some people just want to watch the show and that's it. But you guys have come. You're enjoying it. I love seeing you guys interact in chat and you guys talking to each other as well. I feel like we're getting kind of a real sort of Possum Lodge community here on the Twitch channel. And you guys make it what it is. So, nope, not a Toronto fan, Ottawa fan. Okay, very good. We've had some good rivalries with the Senators over the years. Christopher Gamblin watching the hockey game as well. Nice. Noli says, what do you actually get for subscribing? That's a great question, Noli. First of all, our content here is free for everyone, so you don't have to subscribe to come and be a part of things and ask questions and all that kind of stuff. You do get a subscriber badge beside your name in chat. You get to access special red-green channel emotes in chat, which we've made partner, which is the next level of Twitch whatever affiliation, and we should be hopefully unlocking soon even more emotes for you guys to use in channel. So Harold's face and a bunch of other stuff. And also whenever we do a giveaway, which we do a giveaway pretty much every Wednesday night, we're going to do another one tonight, you get an increased chance of that happening. Also, we're talking now about, once we get some more guests on the program, my dad is going to be around soon. I'm hoping to get him in here. I've been talking to some of the other former castmates, some of the other former writers that I knew from the show as well, to get them to come on and talk about the writing process. We might throw chat into subscriber-only mode when we have special guests, so that our subscribers can ask questions to those guests. So there should be some incentives. Yeah, Crookery, he knows all about that sweet emote, and Kiefer Skunk as well. First time I've seen a hosted stream, but I've been watching for a while. Jammin' Jim 97. Glad you could make it out. Please feel free to ask me questions as the night progresses. It's easiest for me if you put at Red Green Junior TV before your question, so I'll see it. It stands out in bold that way, and I'll do my best to try to answer your questions. Okay, we're going to get going with, you know what it's time for. Every week we do this.
It's mail call.
It's mail call. We're going to take a look at the mail call bag, at what the various fans have sent to me over the week. Again, if you have something you want to send me and I can show it on our stream live for the rest of the world to laugh at, please email me, redgreenjuniortv@gmail.com. You can tweet me at redgreenjuniortv, or just stick it on the Red Green main Facebook page and I'll see it. So please keep sending stuff in. Redgate Trek says, are you sure it's like the Possum Lodge community? I mean, more people here have paid dues than original. That's a good point. That's well said. We might be in the black, which is maybe a first for the Possum Lodge. All right, here we go. Let's head over to our fan mail for the week. First of all, this came in from Joyce via Facebook. And she says, this is my genius bagless vacuum cleaner. Run the hose outside or through a window. My goodness, Joyce. If you can, I don't know if you guys can see, it's kind of small in the picture, but there is some duct tape on the connection from the hand vacuum to the hose. And it's just, it's lovely to see that duct tape is not just for the guys, right? Ladies can be capable, or maybe it's culpable, just as much as the men can. And we appreciate, Joyce, you using the duct tape and being innovative with your bagless vacuum cleaner. Thank you for sending that in. Next up, Jeff sent in this picture. And it's a little bit hard to see in the picture, but he wrote along with it. He says, so apparently someone had to get some tree limbs out of a walkway at this rest area. Yes, those are children's playground swing seats. They must be a Possum Lodge member. That fits with our, our kind of lodge mantra, right? Any tool can be the right tool. And it's nice if you can use some swing set seats to make sure those branches are out of the way. Just make sure the kids aren't on them when you grab them, okay? But good job. Thank you for that, Jeff. Appreciate it. This next one was sent in by Jeremy, also via Facebook. And it's a sign that says, never run with bagpipes. You might get killed. And that's just punny enough to make it onto the stream. Thank you for that, Jeremy. Now, I can say this because my mom was born in Scotland, so I have Scottish relatives who play bagpipes and wear kilts and all that stuff. I got to tell you, it's not the running with the pipes that's the problem. It's just playing them often is what gets people killed. But thank you for that, Jeremy. I appreciate it. This next one is sent in by Patrick. It was a sign he saw in a store that reminded him of us. It says, wine is like duct tape. It fixes everything. And let me tell you, if the Leafs, Raptors, Jays, TFC lose tonight, we might be putting that putting that to the test. But thank you for saying that in, Patrick. That's a pretty awesome sign. All right, next up we have our very own Jordan, who's here in chat quite often. You've seen other submissions from Jordan over the last number of weeks. He sent this in to me. He said he noticed that we put up a membership card from somebody else, and so he sent me a picture of his original International Possum Brotherhood membership card. You can see by the marks on it and like the staining on it. This has been in Jordan's wallet for a long, long time. Now, he's member number 58,516. That is, I know it sounds like a big number. That's quite low. We got up into the hundreds and hundreds of thousands before we stopped putting numbers on them. Nowadays, if you get a membership, it doesn't come with a number anymore because it just got too high. So I kind of feel like we might need a little bit of a competition here in the stream to see if anyone can submit a picture of a membership card with a number lower than 58,516, because I think, Jordan, that one's going to stand for a while. That's pretty impressive. I can't believe you haven't lost it yet. That's well done. All right, this next one is sent in by our very own Harris, right here in chat, who's been making submissions the last number of weeks. He sent in this lovely picture that says, "The secret to happiness? Having friends just as backwards and crazy as yourself." And Harris says, "This may be why I love the show so much. I have a feeling that most Lodge members are this way." Absolutely. We're here to share the crazy, Harris, and we're happy to have your crazy here along for the ride. It's nice to come to a Twitch stream or be a fan of something and go, "Hey, I'm not the only one." Those are some pretty sweet beards as well. Well done. All right, this next one was sent in by Chris. This was emailed to me. And first of all, it's a pretty sweet ride. But Chris explains the picture here. He says, "This was my buddy's parents' legendary Dodge Spirit. If you look at the trunk lid, you'll notice a lot of duct tape holding it down, with the assistance of bungee cords. Form over function? No. The trunk lid actually latched fine on its own. The tape and bungees were superfluous." Listen, folks, when you use duct tape because you need to repair something, that's impressive. When you use it just for the look, I gotta tip my hat to you. That's well done to your buddy's parents, Chris. Holy cow. The trunk worked fine, but they added duct tape and bungee cords just because they thought it looked better. That's a special kind of, speaking of crazy. Very nice. This next picture is also from someone in our community, our very own Kiefer Skunk, who's one of our mods here at Red Green Junior TV, sent this in. He says, "This is our Cayuga duck, Dos, which is Spanish for the number 2. Her sisters are Ichi, which is Japanese for 1, Trois, French for 3, you Canadians will know that, and Peder, which is Welsh for 4. I hope I pronounced that right. Dos broke her foot recently and had to have it bandaged up, and our vet actually wrapped her foot in cotton bandage and sealed it with, yes, you guessed it, duct tape. She showed us how to do it, so here's our duck after we just changed her bandage today. Sorry it's a cheap off-brand, but you have to admit, duct tape is rather appropriate here." Holy cow. Duct tape on a duck. That might be the first time I've ever seen that. So thank you for sending that in, Kiefer. And I hope Dos is feeling better soon. All right, and last but not least, another picture from someone here in the community. Our very own Cohoso sent in this lovely picture, which if you're a Red Green fan, you might recognize. Perhaps we inspired that. This amazing creation. He says, "It seems like I've seen this idea somewhere before. True credit for this goes to Will139 on Flickr, who took this photo in Taylorsville, Indiana on April 21st. And folks, that is 2 K cars joined together, proving, in my opinion, that 2 wrongs do, in fact, make a right." So thank you once again, everyone, for your submissions. That was some pretty sweet pictures this week. Again, if you have a video, if you've written a poem that's, could be read as a winter poem or a spring poem or whatever you've done. If you've drawn something or you've painted something or you've sculpted something or you've just put duct tape on something, please send it to me. Love to show it on chat next week. I think someone said that all the Toronto teams are still up. That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. Duck brand hasn't been working for me. 3M or Nashua does. Yeah, we use 3M around here, Pete Rose. I find it's pretty good. Every once in a while, my wife will bring home duct tape from the dollar store. Yeah. It's not so good. Okay. Tonight we are showing Season 7, Episode 1. And for you Red Green fans, you might notice that this season is when the show really takes a turn in terms of production value. Talking Toei has joined the lodge. Thank you very much for the subscription, Toei. Very kind of you. Any other subscribers in chat, please spam some red green tape emotes for Toei. Welcome to her to the Possum Lodge. Talking Toei is also a streamer, and if you've been watching here at our streams, you've probably seen that she's designing a Possum Lodge theme park in a video game she plays, and we're hoping to get some updates on that real soon about how the Possum Lodge theme park is going. Hey, Graphics, what's going on? Nice to see you. So Season 7 is the first year that the Red Green Show made it to the CBC. And in Canada, the CBC is like the big kind of major network. It has sort of the most money, or at least it did at the time. And we were trying to get on the CBC ever since 1991, when the show was just kind of getting started. And Season 7 is when we finally broke through and got onto the CBC. And this year is a marked increase in production value of the show. Just everything sort of got better, in my opinion, starting from Season 7 on. I asked my dad if he had any thoughts about, hey man, we're showing Season 7, Episode 1 this week. What would you like people to know? So I'm just going to read his comments right here. By the way, if you don't know, I am Dave Smith. My dad is Steve Smith, who is Red Green. And so this isn't just me getting help from my dad, who's just some guy. This is the actual Red Green's words here. He says, we approach CBC every year from 1991 on. Finally, the CBC program director, Slako Klimku. That sounds like a Bond villain name. Slako Klimku was in a Jumbo Video. If you guys, Canadians, you might remember Jumbo video rentals back when that was a thing. Slako was in a Jumbo Video with his two sons to rent videos. They picked out one of ours, and that got his attention. Next thing you know, we had a deal. So that's all you got to do. If the boss's kids like you, you're good. We increased the budget to raise the production values, and also because CBC was supplying the facilities, and they ain't cheap. We were still their least expensive entertainment show. CBC didn't want 24 episodes a season. So if you've been watching the blocked streams, the Tuesdays and Thursday streams, you notice they've gotten shorter over the last couple of weeks because the CB seasons didn't ever do a full 24 episodes. They started with much less, and I think we're up to season 10 this week, and they're up to about 18 now. But the CBC didn't want to get the full 24 for us because they still weren't exactly sure about us, to be honest. So yeah, they didn't want a full 24 episodes, so we lost some of our economy of scale and had to charge more per episode. I didn't feel extra pressure. I asked my dad if he felt a little more pressure to deliver a better show now that he was on CBC. He said no. We had a decent audience, and we were doing okay in the States on PBS. So it had already, been on PBS for a few years by then. This is 1997. And my dad felt pretty comfortable that we were fine with or without CBC. It was only right that CBC had the show. In the final day of negotiating, CTV, so a competitor broadcaster, called and made us an offer. And that's what really clinched the CBC deal. So whoever made that call from CTV, if you're watching, thank you for doing that. Noli says, I think I mentioned it yesterday, but there is a show on now that reminds me of a more chaotic version of the show called The Chris Gethard Show. It was even on public access for most of its airtime. It's currently on True TV, but all their public access shows are online. All right, Noli, I'll have to check it out. Thank you. Pete Rose says, I used to watch season 7 on CBC Windsor and season 6 on WTVS at the same time. So Pete, are you in Windsor, or did you get the CBC feed in Michigan or something? Jammin', you watched on PBS in Iowa. Yeah, Iowa was such a huge supporter of the show for years and years and years. Probably our biggest supporter in terms of money raised and eyes on the show when all said and done with Red Green on PBS. So thank you, all you Iowa viewers and all you viewers on PBS throughout the states, making this really the first Canadian show that really made it on PBS. It was pretty cool. Another thing that changed this year was we had been doing the show in front of a live audience for a few years now at this point. But when we moved to CBC, because of the size of the building and the budget, we were able to start filming the studio indoor stuff twice in a night. So what we would do is we would tape Wednesday nights. So we would start taping in about May, all the outdoor stuff. We do all the outdoor stuff first, and that would go till about mid-August. And then starting the first or second week of September, we would start filming indoor stuff, all the studio stuff. So, the lobby scenes and the midlifes and the repair shops, which is a new thing this year, and whatever was done inside. We'd start filming in September, and we'd do Wednesday nights and Saturday nights. And we'd do a 7 p.m. show and a 9 p.m. show each Wednesday and each Saturday. And this is the first year we started doing that. And I think that really helped us in terms of our content, of our studio stuff, because we would shoot the 7 p.m. As the script was written, and we would pay attention to what worked and what didn't work. And then in between, the audience would leave from the 7 p.m. show. A new audience would come in for the 9 p.m. show. They'd usually been out to dinner in Toronto and maybe had a few wines or a few beers or whatever. So they came ready to laugh at the 9 p.m. Thank you very much for the cheer, Saints Angel. Trying to stay on top as the bit boss. Good for you. Battery's got it right now, though. Good job, Battery. But anyway, so they would come in for the 9 p.m. show, and we would have rewritten any of the jokes that we thought didn't work. And so the 9 p.m. show tended to be a little bit better in terms of the excitement of the little bit drunk audience. And also, we had done some punch-ups on the scripts. But we would take the best take from either one and make one episode out of the best of those two tapings. And that was another way that season 7, I think, made a big leap forward. The last thing I'm going to mention before we get started, season 7, episode 1, is for those of you who've been watching this stream, you'll know that something I've been talking about is the old set was actually made of bricks, and it was just like a faux brick on these studs, and it was painted to look like horizontal wooden slats. This year, season 7, CBC, big budget, we could afford to rip down those old faux brick and put up actual fake wood slats so that the back of this set, you'd no longer have to see those bricks at the back of the set if you look closely. Saint says, you're welcome. I told you I'm ready. You are ready. Honestly, the Raptors win? Okay, one down. Let's go, Leafs. Let's go, Leafs. Come on. All right. So, yes. Old bricks down, new wood's up. So, essentially, season 7 is the same old studs, but with a facelift. And I think that could be the opening to a midlife. All right, here we go. Without further ado, we are going to get rolling with season 7, episode 1, which is called Running of the Bulls. And I'll talk to you in a little bit. Keep those questions coming, and I'll stop at a break and get some answers going your way very soon. Here we go. Enjoy.
It's the new Red Green Show! And now here's the Julius Caesar of Possum Lodge. He came, he saw, he conked out. Your hero, my Uncle Red Green!
Welcome to Possum Lodge. Boy, oh boy, big week at the lodge this week. Got a real special event planned. Our very first ever running of the bulls.
Yeah, we all got a touch of the Pampelona.
Yeah, I had that one time. A couple of spoonfuls of Imodium and keep your running shoes on.
No, Uncle Red. Pampelona is a city in Spain where they have the real running of the bulls.
Oh, yeah, I know. But ours will be just as good, Harold. Why, I'll tell you, the idea of a bunch of bulls chasing our guys down the main street's got everybody pretty revved up around here.
You know, it sounds pretty dangerous to me. You know, if anybody gets hurt, your name is Mud.
Harold, when I'm being chased by an angry bull, I'll take any name but Gord.
Just pause it real quick there. This is the last season of the new Red Green Show. So we have Red Green Show, and then we have seasons 4 to 7 as the new Red Green Show, rebranded. And this is the last time that it was the new Red Green Show. It just went back to being the Red Green Show after this. So that's kind of an interesting tidbit too. And if you love this opening, I'm sorry you don't get to see it again for a little while. But if you hated this new Red Green Show opening, it's gone. You don't have to watch it anymore. So that's good. Chris Gamlin says, when the Red Green Show moved to CBC in season 7, where did the filming of The Lodge take place at? It was at the CBC studios. So Front Street, downtown Toronto. And we had a crowd of 200 plus times 2 every night, Wednesday night and Saturday night. So it was pretty cool. Jammin', it was called the New Red Green Show because it went through kind of a rebranding in season 4. And it was starting to get sold in the US. And we wanted to differentiate it from the first 3 seasons that had already been sold down there. So we're trying to make it seem new, a bit more urban. We had some executives who wanted to sell the show, and they thought branding it as the new Red Green Show and having this more sort of urban opening would help them do that. It ultimately didn't really work. Some people like the opening, some people don't. But after it was clear that it didn't really matter to call it that anymore, and it kind of seemed ridiculous after a bunch of seasons of calling it that, it just kind of went away. All right, here we go. Back to the episode.
Here are a few clips from this episode. Harold tells me this is what the big shows do now, you know, to get you to watch, kind of a preview, kind of a teaser thing. How do you like it? Let us know. Just call 1-800-NICE-TRY. Well, got an hour to go till the test run of the running of the bulls. I guess you could call that the test running of the bulls.
Uncle Red, have you thought this through?
How do you mean?
Nothing, never mind, stupid question.
Well, we got our 2 bulls, and they're ready to go, so all we got to do is throw on our running shoes and start yelling oy vey.
I think you mean Olay.
No, these bulls are kosher. And boy, they're big, you know, and boy, they're mean-looking, Harold, and I don't think they've been on a date for a while. If you know what I mean, and I'm sure you do.
Uncle Red, you're just going to get so terribly hurt. Do you actually think you can outrun an angry charging bull?
I don't have to, Harold. All I have to do is outrun at least one lodge member. Don't worry about me. I think you should worry about old man Cedric.
Or Buster Hatfield.
Oh, yeah, he's no Donovan Bailey.
More like Beetle Bailey.
And for sure, I can outrun you, Harold.
I'm not participating. This is a potentially dangerous event.
I know it's not as fulfilling as sitting at the computer for 6 hours on the internet arguing about whether Captain Kirk is better than Captain Picard.
Picard is.
All right, but for the guys that are running with the bulls, Harold, this is a display of courage, manhood, and heart.
And heart attacks.
Oh, your kite got caught in the high-tension wire. You thought you could get it down, so you leaned your ladder up against the pole, and you heard a funny sound. You climbed and climbed way up to the top where the ladder touched the transformer. You grabbed the wire to free your kite, and you noticed your hand getting warmer. Oh, sparks flew out, and away you went with one arm noticeably enlarged. Now, normally the cops would make an arrest, but they could see you'd already been charged.
Just want to pause it there quick. Number one, I want to know in the chat, people like Picard over Kirk or Kirk over Picard. It's always a good question for nerds, fans of things. But also I wanted to say, this Handyman Corner is one of my favorite Handyman Corners of all time. It was one of my favorite ideas, and then it was sometimes the good idea ones, when you actually shop them, they didn't actually turn out to be as good. And sometimes the ones when they were written, you're like, man, it doesn't sound that good. And then when you saw it made, it was like, oh, the visual is amazing. This one I thought was both. I loved it all the way through, and I'm so excited to be able to watch it with you guys tonight. So here we go, the old Hummerdinger.
Got a real complicated handyman project on this week's show. As you can see, this vehicle here has had a little unscheduled body work on her, and she's kind of unsafe and ugly right now, which is a lot more acceptable in a person than it is in a car. and over here, if you'll see, we got almost the identical unit over here, and different side done on this one. This is actually a result of a little test we ran up to see if Mercury Creek Bridge was wide enough for 2 cars. Can't really talk anymore about that till after the inquest. Anyway, I'm going to show you what the creative handyman does when he's got 2 identical side-swipe vehicles. Actually, I got the idea of watching them action movies. I really like the action movies because at my age, it's about all the action I'm going to see. I'm going to show you how to make a Hummer. You know what a Hummer is? It's one of those things they use like on Desert Storm. I don't know why they call it a Hummer, but if you got anything that's 12 feet wide, it's a Hummer, believe me. You know who has them is the military and Hollywood celebrities. So that makes sense, because those are 2 groups that really spend money wisely. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to connect these 2 cars together side by side. Of course, the first thing we have to do is get the doors off them. At a 1/2-inch bolt? No, I think she's a 5/8. Doesn't it? The doors. They broke up. All right, now all you gotta do is drive this car up so the 2 cars are side by side. There we go. Now, just gotta kind of join them together into one wide body. And of course, joining them up means that you gotta be welding, or better still, or at least faster still, use the handyman's secret weapon, duct tape. But don't skimp on the duct tape, just to save a buck or 2. Because at highway speeds, you'll be glad that you spent the big dollar. I wonder how Hummers cost so much. It's all the duct tape. You're probably wondering, how's this going to work? Well, I'm going to tell you. First of all, you start up this unit. You leave her in neutral. Saves gas, eh? What about steering, you're thinking? Don't worry about it. I duct tape the front wheels together. This is not just a Hummer. This is a Hummerdinger. Seats 10, got 2 separate heaters, 2 separate radios, so you don't get into the arguments over which station you're listening to. Well, anybody can have a stretch limo. We got a squat limo. I didn't stretch the budget. I didn't pay squat. Let's see how she handles. Remember, the women don't find you handsome. They should at least find you handy. I'll be back. I want to talk to you couples out there.
I was going to stop it there for a quick second. First of all, Marcus Spears, thank you for the subscription, the resubscription. 3 months in a row, Marcus. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for your generosity and being a part of the Twitch stream, the Possum Lodge membership here. Appreciate that. The other thing I wanted to say was in this midlife, so every once in a while, I feel like in one of the midlives, my dad would start talking about something and the crowd wasn't always sure that they were going to follow him. That's one of the fun things about comedy is you kind of walk it on a ledge sometimes and you're not really sure if the audience is going to walk out there with you. And I felt like the first, and you guys can watch this and tell me if I'm crazy, but it feels like for the first little bit of this midlife, Seems like maybe the crowd isn't sure whether they're going to go out where Red is. But then by the end of it, they do, because it's funny enough and witty enough. And it's pretty awesome to see the audience come around. I just missed a sub. Saints Angel just gifted a sub to Kenny Kung Fu. Saints, that's so generous of you. Thank you very much. And everybody, welcome Kenny Kung Fu to the Lodge. If you have another subscriber, if you could spam those red-green tape emotes, that would be awesome. Appreciate that. Thank you, Saints. Very generous of you. And Kenny, welcome to the Lodge. Harris says, with me loving the rodeo, I would be the one riding the bull, not running from it. Wow. Ride that bull, Oklahoma. Okay. Noli, that thing did work for about 50 meters. Okay, so here we go. Midlife. Pay attention to the crowd. Watch Red just warm them right on over. Here we go.
Out there who may be a little bit confused as to why relationships are so difficult. You know, they say it's bad to generalize, but it's something I really enjoy. So here's the thing, okay? Men are interested in cars. Women are interested in gardening. Yeah, think about that, eh? I mean, not all men like cars. Some like motorcycles and trucks. But you gotta admit, you see more men at car shows than you see more women at gardening shows. Eh? That's important. That'll help you understand why they see relationships differently. See, because women see a relationship like a garden. You know, you got to put a lot of work into it. You got to fuss over it. You got to turn over the ground, add more flowers, a little fertilizer. Whereas men see a relationship like a car. Once they've made a commitment to have one, they really expect it to go at least 5 years without any serious maintenance. Oh, yeah. See, women enjoy working on a relationship. They see that as part of the fun. Men see that as a sign that there's some serious mechanical problem. And maybe that's why when there is a serious problem, women try to dig down deeper and get to the roots. Whereas, unfortunately, a lot of men try to trade up. Remember, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. You take a simple idea like a couple of bulls chasing people down the main street, and you think to yourself, what could possibly go wrong? You have no interest in girls, do you, Harold?
I'm not dressed like this to impress girls.
Well, it's working, believe me.
I'm going to be officiating the big event, the running of the bulls.
No, Harold, it's not going to be a running of the bulls. We had a few problems.
What kind of problems?
Well, during the test run, we found out that Junior Singleton's starter pistol is not a starter pistol. So right away, we're down to one bull. And, we got her going, though, with the one bull, and it was chasing everybody pretty good. And then Moose Thompson decided he wanted to double back for his lucky hat.
He ran straight into the bull?
No, he cut around the side street there, but he still nailed the bull pretty good.
Like head on?
More of a T-bone. Actually, 40 T-bones, a monster rump roast, and 900 pounds of hamburger.
Oh, that's awful. Poor little big bull.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Well, look good. There's an upside. Yeah. This whole silly event has to be canceled.
No. We're not going to cancel it. We're just going to find something else to run. That's all. We're going to have the running of the moose. I'm going to go tell Moose about it right now. He'll be conscious by now.
How can you tell?
I'll tell him you said that, Harold.
Don't tell him I said it. Welcome to the expert portion of the show, where we examine those three little words that men find so hard to say.
I don't know.
Excellent. Okay. On this week's portion of the experts, we have joining my Uncle Red is his best friend in the whole wide room, Mr. Hap Shaughnessy. This week's letter goes as follows. Dear expert. Some people believe in life after death and some people don't. Who's right? I've seen your show and I figure you guys must know what happens after you die.
I don't think anybody in their right mind can answer that question.
I can.
You died, Mr. Shaughnessy? When did that happen?
At the Seoul Olympics in '88. I ran the marathon representing the nation of Sierra Leone. During the marathon, I died of a heart attack at the 52-mile mark.
Marathons are only 26 miles.
No one told me that. I thought you had to run there and back. So just as I reached what I thought was the finish line, which turned out to be the starting line again, I collapsed of a heart attack and I died.
Well, I say we have a funeral immediately.
Anyway, my spirit, or my soul, or whatever you want to call it, was floating. I could see I was lying there.
Oh, everybody can see you're lying there.
I remember a beautiful woman, and I was working on some pottery, and I remembered a door and a penny sliding on the door. And that's all I remember about the afterlife. Then a doctor revived me, and I was back on Earth, in Korea. I was so excited, I treated everyone to a banquet of dog. That's a Korean delicacy. It tastes a lot like wolf.
Just going back a bit to your memories of afterlife.
Uh-huh.
You know, that pretty woman with the pottery.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's that bit about the penny and the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are both scenes out of the movie Ghost.
I was a technical advisor on that movie.
Oh.
Because they wanted it to be accurate. So in answer to this letter, I would say yes, there is an afterlife waiting for us, and it's full.
Yeah, unfortunately, the afterlife is full of the same stuff this one is. Got a little camping trip on this week's adventure with Bill. How you doing there, Bill? Oh, you're fine. Yeah, we like to get out in the outdoors there, get a little exercise, you know, it's good for you. I enjoy the backpacking myself. Anyway, Bill kind of picked out a spot there, and I just thought I'd thin out the forest a little bit, and I didn't realize, unfortunately, that I put that tree right between Bill's legs. Just happened all that off and up at the lodge. No, oh, you back up. I'll back her up. Oh, for goodness sakes. Oh, boy. Oh! Oh, he's fine. You know, camping is a very personal thing, and you can know a lot about a camper by what they carry in their backpack. I kind of go light, and Bill, he goes cable. Anyway, we got all our stuff out there, and it's time to roll out the bedrolls. Oh, Bill, you're supposed to hang on to the one end. Way you go. Way you go. Go get it. Way you go. Way you go. Go get it. Way you go. We get a little more speed going there, Bill. Look out. There we go. He's probably tireder now. Next this. There you go. All right, fine. Oh. Later that day, Bill got into bed, everything fine, and then, oh, yeah. Anyway, we got ourselves all settled. Bill's all settled. A lot of mosquitoes, so Bill had kind of zipped himself up there like a sausage roll. And you know what? He'd gotten in there a little too quick, and he had neglected to put down one of the key components in any camping trip, the ground sheet. Right, Bill? A little soggy, is it, Bill? And not from the inside this time. All right, yeah, no. And this is starting to, Bill, you didn't put down your ground sheet. That's what I'm showing you. Come on, put that down, you'll be fine. So he doesn't want to get out of his sleeping bag there because of the mosquitoes. So he decides he can just do it without, looks like one of them, you know, the caterpillar in the cocoon. I don't want to see the butterfly that comes out of that one, I'll tell you. Yeah, where you go, Bill? And Bill, if you need any help, I'm here for you, buddy. There you go. All right. I'm here for you. No, well, in my way, you know. There he's all set. Jump into bed, Bill. Away you go. Good night.
doubles, right? Now, you got this guy named Moose, and for good reason, okay? And he's chasing all the other men down right down the center of town, right? So, okay, that's all you really need to know. Uncle Red, come on in here. Come on in here, Uncle Red. Tell them what happened.
Moose does not corner well.
That's true, because they were chugging along pretty well on the straightaway.
And then we hit the sharp curve in the middle of town there.
Right in front of the yogurt stand.
All the way home, I was afraid some health nut was going to start licking me.
Well, the good news is, you know, that this crazy event of yours is mercifully a lost cause.
Oh, no. It's not over till I quit, and I'm not quitting. We're going to do the whole running thing again, only this time we're going to use a lion.
A lion?
A lion.
A lion?
Yeah.
A lion like what? Like a 10-foot razor fang man-eating lion?
Well, sort of. We're going to use the lion from Flinty McClintock's African Lion Safari.
Flinty's lion?
Yeah.
That's a mangy, old, arthritic, dyspeptic, senile, toothless, half-blind lion. That thing is... Actually, I heard it was a deformed pig. That's what I heard. You're gonna have to put on a skateboard and wheel it through town. Flinty's not gonna lend it to you anyway. He gives you that lion, his whole lion safari just gonna be a bunch of snow fences holding back chickens.
How about that mink ranch outside of town?
Oh, yeah, that place with the little wee corrals.
Yeah. Hey, we'll have the running of the minks. Does that say class to you?
Oh, yeah. Third.
This is the repair shop part of the show that we call, if it ain't broke, you're not trying. Dalton Humphreys brought something in for us to fix. What'd you bring?
Just want to pause it real quick there as well. The chat is humming. Thank you so much for the donations, everybody. Holy mama. Kenny Kung Fu and Saints Angel are just getting it done over here. Appreciate that. But I just want to point out that this is a new segment on the show this year. This is the repair shop. And you'll notice in the background, those are the same bricks from previous seasons. So this is the only set that sort of made it into, made the transition into the CBC buildings. And when we set up in the CBC studios, we had sort of 3 sets. So on stage left was this kind of basement scene where we did repair shops and the meetings at the end. The middle scene was the lobby, where we did lobby scenes, but also experts and also word games. It was such a much bigger lobby, we could fit all those things on just the lobby. And then to stage right was the midlife set. And then in between the lobby scene and the midlife set, in the back corner, we would have the indoor Ranger Gourd Tower eventually. That's where that got stuck. And the midlife set is where they did the midlifes, and also later where Harold did some craft stuff later on. You guys might remember Colin Mockery coming on and being Frank the hot dog guy, and some other sort of... Harold did almost like a collectible kind of show where people would come in and show their collections or their hobbies. It was like Harold's Hobby House or something. That was done over there as well. So it was a nice big set. The audience could see all the different things. We didn't have to, redress the set for a new thing. We could just do the whole episode in front of them, just move kind of left and right and in the middle. And it was a great way to watch the show. And it was nice to see these old Comedy Mill late 80s brick set still in full effect. All right, here we go with our first ever repair shop.
What'd you bring us there, Dalton?
Hey, well, Red, today I was hoping you could fix my tennis racket here. Just got that last week.
John McEnroe have a garage sale, did he?
No, that's brand new, Red. Can you fix it?
Boy, I don't know, Dalton.
Yeah. See, this is a titanium graphite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and those strings are made from snow leopard gut.
It almost looks like it's been bent around a post or something.
Yeah. No, my wife did that. Did it right around her knee.
Wow.
Yeah. Anne Marie's a smallish woman, but boy, when those hormones kick in, she's got just a power to her, right?
Yeah. So did she break the strings too?
No, we did that together.
Oh.
Yeah. May I?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. It was this kind of look.
Oh, yeah.
See, she just had an impressive overhead smash.
Yeah,
She just really got all of it.
Yeah. Are you, you having problems at home of any kind?
Oh, no. No, nothing serious, Red. We recently had our 20th wedding anniversary.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Which I forgot.
Oh.
Tried to pass off this tennis racket as an anniversary gift, and apparently Anna Marie isn't a big tennis fan.
Well, that's too bad, Dalton. But congratulations on the 20th anniversary. That's silver, isn't it?
You know, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what it's not.
Uh-huh.
It's not titanium graphite, that's for sure.
Well, the running of the mink was not an unqualified success.
Dozens of casualties. It was like guys were trampled and stomped and bitten. One woman pulled a muscle laughing so hard.
Yeah, Harold, what I couldn't figure out was how come the minks all went up to inside of Junior's pants like that?
Well, it's because he keeps food in his pockets all the time. Those minks just whizzed right up there.
Yeah, so did Junior.
Boy, oh boy, he went crazy, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
It became the running of the Junior.
Yeah.
Boy, he was knocking things over and
yeah.
smashing into people and trampling over them. Boy, oh boy, I had no idea Junior could move so fast.
Well, Harold, you get a dozen mink in your shorts and you get the adrenaline. But I think people got their money's worth on that.
Yeah, tickets were free, so I think so, too.
Yeah, that's right. No, Harold. It's the meeting. It's just a meeting.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I was
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I was just doing that in case, for your own sake, I'm going downstairs.
Yeah, all right. I want to get the mink laughing. Okay, if my wife is watching, I'll be coming straight home after the meeting. And, you've always said you'd like to have the experience of the feel of real mink. Might want to check with Junior on that. And to the rest of you, thanks for watching. On behalf of myself and Harold and the whole gang up here at Possum Lodge, you keep your stick on the ice.
I'm just going to pause it real quick there. Got some questions about this scene. De facto said no more audience wranglers from season 7 on. I think I could be wrong, but first of all, there were audience wranglers, absolutely. There might be, we should watch the credits here closely and see if there are. I didn't actually watch the credits when I previewed this episode, so I'm not sure what it says for that in terms of the credit roll here. But we absolutely did have audience wranglers. And somebody else, the Ferb guy says, was the audience able to participate in the meetings at the end of the show? Yes. So essentially, the CBC studios where we shot was actually on the 10th floor. So for both audiences, they would come in the ground floor of CBC, they would line up, and we had people working down there to organize them into lines. They would bring them up the elevator, kind of group by group, and then they would be lined up again outside the studio on the 10th floor and then brought into the studio. And while the audience wrangler people were lining up the audience, they would keep their eyes out for people who looked lodge-like. So usually people with plaid shirts, men with beards, men of the right age, and they would hand out a clothespin to that person. And if you got handed out a clothespin and they just said, hang on to that clothespin, essentially what that meant was at the end of the night, you got brought down, you got given a vest, and you got a chance to sit and be a part of the lodge meeting. Also, the cranker, who's the only kind of person's face you really, really see. You see others as well, but you really see the cranker. That was always given to someone, and people would go nuts to be the cranker quite often. So yeah, this was all audience participation. It's a shame because when people would come and get into the audience, into the meeting, or they got to be the cranker, they would often think, oh, sweet, I'm going to watch that episode. But then Kenny Kung Fu again with the cheer. Thank you so much, Kenny. Very kind of you, doing some damage to Saints Angel, the bit boss. But yeah, someone would come and they would crank and they'd be like, I'm going to watch this episode and see myself. But if we went with the other taping, like the 7 p.m. instead of the 9 p.m. or vice versa, that person may not have actually made it onto air. So if you're out there and you got to crank and you didn't make it into your episode, I'm sorry. All right, let's finish it off here.
When he comes, you gotta sit down because he gets really grumpy if you're standing high. How are you? There he's all. Okay.
Get him up, Harold. Get him up.
Okay, all rise.
Moritati. Sit down.
Okay, I got this week's first announcement. It's a computer for sale. 22 megabytes with 25 quad, big hard drive, lots of bytes, big output, compatible with most male to male, female to male. I'm sorry, this is a personal ad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you, guys. Whoa. Relax, everybody. Okay, thank you, guys. That was season 7, episode 1. I don't know if you guys noticed on that credit roll. Ooh, Bran Mevins. Cheers with the 10 bits. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Very kind of you. The audience coordinator on the credit, Jake Straw Walker, got it. Good for you, Jake, was Tiffany Richardson. And if you've been listening to some of my previous streams, you may have heard me talk about our production manager, Sandy Richardson. Okay, so Sandy worked on the show. I think I said before, she met my parents on Smith & Smith, the TV show they had before Red Green was Comedy Mill. Before that was Smith & Smith. She did makeup for them on Smith & Smith. As they had met actually in the hospital. My mom and Sandy were both pregnant with their firstborn kids. So my brother Max and Sandy's daughter Tiffany, they met in the hospital, had their kids, and became family friends, close ever since. Sandy was doing makeup on the show. She became the production manager eventually, and she was the production manager for all 15 seasons of the Red Green Show. Thank you very much for the tip there, Fritzes. Appreciate that. She had been doing some of the audience wrangling when my brother and I did it as well. But by the time we hit CBC, Tiffany took over that audience coordinating duty. So it was her kind of manning the team of audience coordinators. And she did a great job of it. She lived in Toronto. She went to school, I think she was at Ryerson, if I believe correctly. So it was easier for her to get to those CBC studios for those September, October, November tapings. And she did a great job coordinating it. Crookery says, how come we can't find Smith & Smith on YouTube? We have old seasons of Smith & Smith on tape. I'm not sure what the status is of them in terms of being digitized. So I think there are some YouTube channels that are showing Smith & Smith episodes, but it's not us. And so we've complained to YouTube that we own the rights to those things and other people shouldn't be able to show them. But we hope to, on this channel, provide you guys with some of that old vintage stuff. So Red Green from Comedy Mill, Red Green from Me and Max, which is a show that I was on as a kid. I'm me, my brother was Max, and my parents. And my dad played himself as Steve Smith, the dad of our little family, but he also played Uncle Red. So Red was a character on that show as well. And then before Me and Max, my parents did Smith & Smith. And we'd love to be showing you some of that sort of vintage SNS stuff and content over the years. Some people have them on like VHS still or kind of stuff like that, but we have them on this old tape format, and I'm not sure how much of it has been digitized yet. But once we get that digitized, we're going to try to show it to you guys. GetRec20 says, thank you for doing this. I love Red Green. Well, thank you for the tip. That's very kind of you, and the kind words, and just hanging out and watching with us. I really appreciate that. Yeah, there's some other content as well. My dad's been starting to do a blog actually, and when he comes on the channel, he'll do some advertising for that. And I think he wants to show some old content to you guys as well, which I think is going to be really exciting. The duck hat he wears in Smith & Smith is ridiculous. I know. He has a rubber duck on his hat in Smith & Smith, and then in some of the is it Comedy Mill or early? I can't remember now if it's actually Red Green Show or if it's Comedy Mill, where he has the Canada Goose decoy hat. It's friggin' ridiculous too. But I remember the first Red Green clip I ever saw was from Smith & Smith. My dad looks really young. His beard is all black. And he's on this weird looking lodge set. You know, it's very low budget, you know, super old school. And there's a fireplace behind him with these rifles mounted over the fireplace. And I always kind of like, man, if you get the fire going, it's probably bad news. But and it was him launching a boat. And I think it was at Burlington. I think it was in Burlington it was filmed. And it's just him in this beat up pickup truck trying to launch this boat on a trailer and just making an absolute mess of it. And I think it's hilarious. It's super simple, you know, it's not this big, huge production, but it's just funny. So I'm really hoping to show that to you guys. Kenny, this jersey I'm wearing is the Toronto Maple Leafs, man. They got their game 7 tonight. I haven't heard any updates as well, so I'm worried that it's bad news. But we're looking forward to show you guys that. Okay, we're actually going to do a giveaway tonight as well. You guys have been so patient. Let me just sign in here to good old Nightbot, where we do our nightly giveaways. And tonight I'm going to be giving a lucky fan, or unlucky, depending if you don't like it. Since we did season 7 tonight, I'm going to be giving you somebody in chat tonight all of the entire season scripts for season 7. So if you win tonight, please stick around in chat after we finish up, and I'm gonna get your email address. If I can get this to work. Whenever I sign into this, it's gotta send me a text so I get my security code. Security's tight around here. But yeah, we're going to be giving away all of the season scripts for season 7. So if you want to watch season 7, we have all the episodes up on YouTube, our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/redgreentv. You can watch every episode of the Red Green Show for free without me talking and interrupting and making it all boring and all that stuff. You can just watch it. And it's all on YouTube. We also sell the DVDs, the complete collection from our store, www.redgreenshop.com. And you can watch now with the script. Now, it's just a digital copy. It's a PDF, but you can have it on your computer, or you can print it out if you want. And you can see how close they are to the script. And I got to say, starting season 7, because of the 2 tapings a night, and we would often do those rewrites between the 7 p.m. show and the 9 p.m. show, season 7 is a good one to have because there will be some variation, and you will see what jokes didn't work and why, and because they'll be different in the episode that you watch, because that'll likely be something we changed for the 9 p.m. show, which is kind of fun. Okay. Here we go. We got our display up here. So we are going to do a keyword. We're going to give our subscribers bonus luck. Mortis DM says, you don't make it boring. It's quite enlightening to hear about the behind the scenes. Thank you, Mortis DM. That's so nice. DTF. Yeah, we won't go with... Leafs are down 4-5? No! Son of a nut. Blabber, can you relax, man? Appreciate that. It's chill, buddy. It's going to be all right. We're going to bonus luck the subscribers because, you know, without the sub badges and without all the new emotes, yeah, it feels like we're not giving our subscribers all we can. Let me just get the band hammer out there. I think we're good. And so we like to bump them in the old subscriber luck category. But you know what? Not a lot of subscribers have won this thing. So I'm not sure it's actually working. Okay, so this is how it works. If you would like to win the season 7 scripts, if you could type the word 7, S-E-V-E-N, into chat, and it will enter you into our random draw, which I'll roll once enough people have entered. Just want to make sure everybody gets a chance. You don't have to put a capital S. Capital doesn't matter, or not capital doesn't matter. Doing it multiple times doesn't help you. You can type it in a couple times if you really want to, but it's not going to like add to your chances or anything. But go ahead and write 7 in chat, just like lots of you are doing. Hey, some of you are even spelling it right. Good for you. If you don't know how to spell it, just follow along with the others. It should be good enough. And, ooh, Kenny Kung Fu, capitalizing just some of the letters. Amazing. All right, we'll give you a few more seconds. Grithog, was that 6? Yep, that's good. You just put 6. Do you guys remember 7, the movie? I just thought of that with all these 7s in chat. That movie scared the crap out of me. Kevin Spacey, man. Whew. Whew. Okay. I'll give us, let's say, 10 more seconds to make sure all the 7 people get in there. What's in the box? All right, we're going to draw it in 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the winner is Fritz's. Congratulations, Fritz's. Who is a subscriber. Oh my goodness, it's so rare when a subscriber actually wins. That's fan-frickin-tastic. So Fritz's, if you could make sure to stick around in chat after we stop the stream, and I'll get your email. I just need an email address to send you this PDF file of all Season 7 scripts. There's actually an introduction to the season in there as well, written by my dad, where he talks about some of the things I talked about tonight, the studio tapings and things of that nature. So you get a little forward from Steve Smith, a.k.a. Red Green. You'll notice that some of our contributing writers this year included people like Bob Bainbro, who plays Dalton. He did some writing this year. And Jeff Lumby, who plays Winston Rothschild, also did some writing for the show in Season 7. And when you go through the scripts, you'll notice at the top of every segment, there will be the people who wrote its names. And so you'll actually be able to see who wrote and co-wrote what bits. Which is kind of interesting. You can see that some of the guys, they like to write just for their character, or they like to write just certain types of things and not other kinds of things. And so I hope you enjoy that, Fritz's, and enjoy that kind of, a little bit of kind of behind the scenes information, and I hope it enhances your enjoyment of Season 7. All right, folks, thank you once again for hanging out. It was great to see you guys. Thank you for being here on a night, even when all this sports stuff is going on. I appreciate your participation, all your good questions, and all that good stuff. So Fritz is hanging around, and to the rest of you, we're going to be streaming again tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, the second half of Season 10. And then, of course, we'll be back next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as usual. Stay tuned. I believe next Wednesday is going to be a little bit different content than normal. It'll be red-green. But we're thinking of maybe not doing an episode next week on Wednesday night, of doing something a little bit different and special. So stay tuned to the Twitter and the Facebook and stuff for announcements on that. And as always, I'll be live taking your questions and giving you whatever knowledge that I have. And, you know, if I don't know it, I'll just make it up. That's what I do. You guys don't tend to call me on stuff, so appreciate it. Tune into the game ASAP. Oh, gosh. All right. Thank you, guys. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. Nice to see you all. I hope you have a good night. I hope all the Toronto teams win, but if they don't, you know, congrats to you guys. Thanks a lot, folks. Nice to see you. And we'll catch you tomorrow. Later on.